Okay, I'm gonna press play on this because it's gonna take a few seconds to get there anyway. Um, so one of the things that I've had to deal with through this is, well, right now I'm sick. I got body aches. I'm just not feeling very good. I have to get this stuff out though, so I'm gonna start by trying to tell the super abridged version of my story. So I've had to try to turn in my predators to themselves repeatedly in many situations. This whole having to talk to the director thing has become a huge joke, basically. They're just going to continue running me around in circles. So, um, with Miss Shelley destroying evidence, well, that's a felony. And I have every reason to believe that if I have to go to Miss Shelley again, she'll commit another felony. So why did I continue going back to Miss Shelley? Well, first of all, because the stuff that she admitted to, I had to get her to admit to again so that I could record it. Or, of course, get it in screenshots. So, before I play this recording, I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to play the recording, and then I'm going to go back through and try to find all of it and get as much as possible up for you guys. So, in 2022, I was sent to c.a.r.e about. Sorry, I'm picking fuzz off my blanket. I went to c.a.r.e about the abuse that includes repeated assaults, threats against my life, threats against my friends and family's lives, and they sent me around in housing circles. Told me we were going to do this housing thing. They always want to change the subject to housing, and in all this time, I haven't gotten housing. And all the wasted time for housing, how many times have I been assaulted? So I have to try to turn this stuff in. I don't have a friend or family member making these calls, so they're just going to blow me off. I already know that Claire isn't going to be able to make the calls. We've had, I want to say, 3 different occasions where she was going to make these phone calls with me and didn't. And that's one of the things that allows the people at these agencies to basically run a disabled person and a vulnerable adult around in circles like this. When a vulnerable adult, who is primarily who they deal with, is being abused, they have to take it as seriously as, well, as if your own daughter were raped and trying to turn that in. These are horrible things to do to a person. Because it's not just the physical abuse. And I do want to mention that sexual assault is physical abuse. Physical assault is physical abuse. Vandalism is not physical abuse against your person, but it is physical abuse against your property. I do have the right to protect myself and my property, but then again, you say the word mentally ill, and no, you don't. Now, all of a sudden, it must be your fault. This is why disabled people are so much more likely to be abused. Anyway, they didn't want to do their jobs in 2022, 2023, 2024, or 2025. Part of their job includes being mandatory reporters, as we're already well aware. The services that are able to help me, they're being ordered to ignore and to deny me. Well, if you're going to deny me access to the simplest resources for turning in my predators, you're not willing to look at the evidence, you're not even going to show up to our meetings repeatedly, well, definitely makes it a dangerous situation. So, Miss Shelley, she is the most recent addition. Um, she didn't want to do her job. The guy before her, his name was Russell, and he tried. Unfortunately, he didn't have a driver's license. Now he does. However, now that he does have a driver's license, he doesn't work at that part of c.a.r.e anymore. We have no male representation there whatsoever. None. Now, of course, the director is a male. Now, let's get into the fact that I still have to try to turn these people in, and I have to try to turn them into themselves. Otherwise, none of these other places that I have to turn them into are going to listen, because you have to try to turn these people into themselves first. So here's the situation as of last week. Well, it might have been a week before, I believe, that I got started on it, trying to turn in the situation of. Still, I've been trying to do this the whole time, but at this point, it's a situation where they're taking advantage of you guys for your tax money. And they're wanting to have, what do you call those? Fundraisers where they want people to contribute to it. For what? These people are committing felonies against the very people that are supposed to go to them for help. So I went down there about a week ago, I suppose. We'll say a week ago to be on the nice side for them. And I talked to Debbie, and she's the lady at the front desk, and she's kind of the gatekeeper for whether or not you get to turn somebody in. So, and whether or not you get to talk to the director as well. So I talked to Debbie and tried to explain to her that I needed to talk to the director, that I had tried to call the director. It was supposed to be some guy named Jeff. He doesn't work there anymore. So then the person who was doing that position interim temporarily was Marie Miller, and she doesn't do that anymore. Now it's Sean Hudson, maybe. I don't know. I got it written down on my notepad, which is up on the table. I'm not going to grab it at the moment. Anyway, so Debbie said that she would give my number to the director, and apparently she didn't give the director my phone number. So I got multiple recordings about that because my answering machine, when she called to tell me that she had the number but she didn't have a name to go with it, that was Debbie Lane, I believe, who was the one who wrote the message. I don't know why she didn't write my name down. So I'm supposed to continue to try to go back to Shelley, who's supposed to be my peer support worker, even though everything that Russell got started on, like, basically that's the only stuff that's been done. She's been my peer support worker for like 3 months or more, and she's just running me around in circles. There's also the fact that anywhere that I might need transportation to go, they can't do that for a male. They can only do that for a female, which is cutting off every male who goes there who doesn't have a vehicle from services. So, not only do we not have male representation, we also don't have access to the services that they do have. There's also the situation of the ongoing abuse, including the c.a.r.e staff destroying evidence. Now, Debbie Lane wanted to not give me the name of the person that she was going to give the information to. I did specifically ask for the director. The person that the person that she gave my phone number to was not the director. It was Marie Miller. Now, of course, I get 4 messages on my answering machine yesterday all at once. One of them says it's from last Wednesday. This is Marie Miller getting back a hold of me, apparently, but it didn't show up until yesterday. So, of course, I called her up and I tried to explain the situation. That I've been trying to turn in the fact that Miss Shelley destroyed evidence. Also, that I've been repeatedly bullied by c.a.r.e staff while trying to turn that stuff in the past. That does need to be addressed. Like, actually listen to this stuff, write it down, and take notes. When your coworkers have committed crimes against me, especially when this stuff has been used to harm me in court, this does need to be taken seriously. I'm a disabled person with no money. I cannot defend myself or protect myself from this type of abuse. Wow, the blanket up there kind of makes it look like I got more hair than I do. So, this Sean Hudson guy, she said that she was going to talk to him and then she called me back. I figured it'd take probably a few hours and they might end up just calling me at the end of the day. I figured it'd be easier to call today, so I messaged her that. I've also got, of course, evidence of the stuff that I sent her. Um, all the stuff that each one of these agencies is all well aware of, but still wants to play the pretending I'm delusional thing, despite the fact that there are so many records showing otherwise. Are these people going to stop and listen to my concerns? No, they're not. They've been letting Shelley have free reign of committing felonies this whole time. So, oh, come on. All right, so this is one of the issues that I have to work with. Um, Everything's full. So I have to continue with limited experience, it says. So there's a bunch of pictures here, and we'll go into them a little bit. These are pictures of messages sent and so on and so forth. Repeatedly, when I've tried to turn these agencies in, I've been sent around in circles or been yelled at and screamed at and had to take false accusations. And of course, with Miss Shelley destroying evidence and there being evidence of it, that's pretty important. So the lady that I'm supposed to get a hold of, this Marie Miller lady, I did send her evidence. Um, Here's one of the pictures to Marie Miller. Shows some of the threats, and I even typed some magic words to her. No cursing. I am nice to her. I wrote, here are some of the threats I endure. TFCC, c.a.r.e, and the cops pretend these are delusions. So, this afternoon, I had to call her up, and she's gonna apparently have this Sean guy call me next Monday. And one of the things that I'm worried about is these people retaliating against me, even if they say nice things over the phone or type nice things over the internet or in messages. That doesn't detract from the fact that this has happened multiple times where they've done exactly the same thing, and I've gone in and been retaliated against because I'm trying to turn them into themselves like I'm instructed to do. You guys wonder why I go on long-winded tangents, because this is a very complicated situation where they get to pull a lot of crap. So the lady that they got me in contact with is not only not the director, we're playing telephone with the director. I have yet to be able to talk to the director. He's going to work with Shelly, and he's going to work with Melissa, and then he's going to get a hold of me on Monday. Obviously, he's not hearing my side this entire time. I have to worry about retaliation. Of course, as soon as I got off the telephone with Marie today, Shelly got a hold of me to cancel our meeting. Well, par for the course, that's what she does with nearly all of our meetings. Like, she infamously does not show up. The assaults that I have to endure are ongoing. So here's the second call today, I believe. This is when she claims that she's gonna. Oh shit! It turned off because it was idle too long. Right. So Debbie Lane didn't give my number to the right person. The right person does have my number. Finally, after a week, but he's still not the one who I get to talk to. I don't have a email address to send him anything or send Marie anything. I don't have his phone number. Sorry, it takes a minute to get started. Yeah, it takes a little bit. I do apologize. Hello, Marie. This is Sean Schwartz.
Hello, Sean.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Not so good. I've been in my. Okay, so this is one of those things where you might think, well, Sean, this is an autism thing where you're given way more information than you're supposed to when it's just one of those pleasant greeting things. Well, where she works and with what they're supposed to be doing for us. Sorry, I'm looking over to that side as if I can twist my eyes around and actually see the place. Um, so I guess we should just play it. And for 2 days, partially because the harassment and partially because I'm not in a good way physically. I don't know if I ate something that wasn't healthy or if I ended up getting the flu or something. I don't know what. It seems like it should be the flu season, but I'm not vomiting or anything, so it's not that severe. It's just muscle aches all over my body because of it. I'm sure that stuff you don't need to hear. It's not exactly something you're able to help me out with. But it is important. It makes her aware of my situation, at least in some degree, what I am actually dealing with. If you're aware of the right information, you can make the right decisions. A lot of times, these folks have a habit of ignoring stuff that is pretty important. Um, obviously, with me not feeling very good, we're going to have to do stuff over the phone for today, but we should be setting something up so that I can show these people what's going on. We can't just keep on allowing me to be abused by these different agencies and allow these different agencies to just ignore that. Even after they know that what they wrote down was wrong, I still had to deal with it in court. They wanted to continue to pretend that something they knew to be a lie was somehow the truth still after they'd been proven wrong. No, they lied. It's one thing to think that somebody might be wrong or might be lying. But once you've seen the proof, no, you don't get to pretend that it doesn't exist. That's not okay. That's definitely not your job. Now, mind you, all these people are mandatory reporters as well. I don't know about Marie Miller. She's on the board of directors. Seems to me if she's in charge of the place, she probably should be.
Listen. So I talked to Sean, and he's going to talk to Melissa and figure out. And he's got your phone number, and he'll figure out what the arrangements are going to be for you to come in and talk. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. I do want to say that I'd like to be able to sit down with the supervisor type folks as soon as possible and show what's going on. I do want to stop it there also. I want to say, I told Debbie I wanted to talk to the director. This lady is not the director, and she's, again, like I said earlier, a go between. I'm not even talking to the people that I need to talk to. I do have a lot of evidence, and I'm like, for example, tomorrow I have an appointment with Miss Shelley. I have an appointment every Wednesday at 1:30. I go to my appointments. She missed over half of our appointments. Like, I've got appointment card after appointment card where I went in for the things that I'm being told to. They are aware that a lot of the stuff that's in my file is incorrect. She was supposed to review a lot of this stuff, and a lot of the things that Russell got. She was supposed to review it with me. There's a lot of stuff there that wasn't right, and she was supposed to sit down and review it with me. A lot of the stuff that they put in my file is evidence of crimes committed against me by the people at TFCC and care workers while I was in jail, as well as prior and after. So, again, I'm not talking to the right person. I'm having to use a go-between. How is this okay? And then, of course, he's going to talk to Melissa and he'll talk to Shelley, but he's not talking to me. When he does talk to me, I hope that he listens. I really do. That has not been my experience with these folks, especially when they make it take this long to turn something in. Like, I can't just, I'm supposed to wait an entire week. In that amount of time, how many people are going to be allowed to harm me? I'm going to have to leave this tent. I'm also going to have to worry that the people that care will try to abuse the police situation to have me harmed for trying to turn them in. Started, like, basically she's just stalled out everything that we were working on with Russell. We got a lot of stuff done with Russell, and she was able to coordinate with Russell to get stuff done. But then when he was transferred over to the nighttime thing, first of all, they didn't tell me that they were going to do that. They just basically left me hanging for 3 weeks. And he thought that we were going to work together as well. And then at the end of them... Yeah, that's 3 weeks of stall tactics just with Russell. Like, if they were going to put him up there at that other area, they should have reassigned me to somebody else then, instead of making me wait 3 weeks with the belief that Russell was going to be helping me. And Russell thought this too. He kept on saying, as soon as we're done setting this stuff up, they basically just had him run around doing maintenance stuff. Of course, he was actually trying to help. And they kept telling him that he's not supposed to do this, not supposed to do that. As a mandatory reporter, yeah, he is supposed to do those things. It is his job as a mandatory reporter. Doing the whole, whatever those little buildings are called, pallet houses or whatever. Then he was transferred up there, and then I was given Miss Shelley. So a lot of the stuff that he got started was already in the works, and we were able to finish some of it, but everything that we've been focusing on is just for housing. It's not stopping the abuse. It's not focusing at all on the abuse. I'm still disabled, and, you know, again, this is something that I'm not equipped to be able to protect myself or defend myself from this kind of abuse.
Okay, but I want to tell you, you're not talking to the right person.
I know. We're going to stop right there. Yes, I know. I know I'm not talking to the right person. Why am I not talking to the right person? Why am I not talking directly to Sean, Sean Hudson? Why am I not talking directly to him? I asked to talk to the director. He's the director. I told Debbie Lane I wanted to give my number to the director. She didn't give it to the director. She gave it to the board of directors, apparently. The lady who's in charge of the board of directors. And she's being the go-between and telling me she's not the right person. Yeah, I know. So why am I not in contact with the right person?
So I heard you yesterday. I took copious notes. I gave it to Sean.
And thank you for that. Nobody else takes notes.
Now here I do a little bit of what could be considered some ass kissing. But the reality is, I got a lot of notes. Oh, shit. God damn it. Let me show you just the pile of notes. Part of the pile of notes that I got from being in jail for 15 months on false charges. Sorry. See, it's a pretty sizable stack.
Sean is going to work with Shelley and Melissa, and he'll get back to you. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Also, I knew that you weren't the right person because I've been being sent to the director since 2022. I know that that's not your title. You explained that yesterday. Just that when I asked for the director, you're the one who called me instead of the director. So that's why I'm telling you this stuff. If he'd have called me, then I'd explain it to him.
He wasn't here then. He's new.
Yes, ma'am. They told me that. They said he was interim, so there's a lot of...
So he must be new within the last couple of days, basically new. Like that new. It's a tough situation to have to deal with on your first few days. Now, I'm assuming he's that new, because if not, she's misleading the situation. When she was given the information last week, he was apparently not the interim director yet. I let Debbie know, and this lady apparently got a hold of me last Wednesday, so last Wednesday, apparently he had not been hired yet, I suppose. This lady apparently knows him well enough to speak highly for him, but, well, if he hasn't been there that long, how can she? Also, again, I'm objecting to having to do this as her being my go-between. I know that she's the wrong person. She knows she's the wrong person. So let's have the right person get a hold of me and find out what's going on. Is he going to come listen to me? No. He's going to go listen to Shelley and he's going to listen to Melissa.
He might not know.
And in between the time when Jim left and we started, I was the acting executive director. But I am not the person you should be talking to. So I've referred you to who you need to talk to, and they'll be getting back to you, okay?
All right. Is there a phone number I can call him at, or do I just need to wait?
Well, it would be better if you waited, but I can, right. Why don't you wait? If he doesn't call you by Monday, then call me back, okay?
Monday is a long ways away when you're due.
Now, one of the reasons for me stating that the way that I did is because, well, I already figured that I wasn't going to be able to get his number from her. If I have to call Debbie, Debbie will, what, send me around in more circles? Maybe she will, maybe she won't. But she has in the past, and that's something I have to worry about. obviously, just last week, she gave it to the wrong person. Now, if she's that new, then she didn't give it to the wrong person. It was the right person at the time. But it needs to be taken seriously, like, not next month, not next year. And we've already stalled out for 6 months. Since I got out of jail, it's been stalled out.
Violence and threats and abuse. But if that's what I got to do, I did send you some screenshots of some of the threats that people have sent me. I wasn't sure if you got them or not.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
All right. Yeah, that's one of the issues that I've had through all of this is that there's a lot of evidence, but apparently nobody's able to see it. I do have they're obviously,
Well,
I don't mean nobody's able to see it literally. I mean, apparently, when I send something to these people, their phones don't work. Maybe this lady has a really super old landline. She says that it's her personal telephone number. So I'm literally calling her at home during business hours, I guess. This don't make any sense, does it?
but you misunderstand. You've got my personal phone number, not the company phone number.
So I've sent her screenshots in texting, and I've texted her. Either she has text messaging or she doesn't have text messaging. If she's not able to get these messages because she doesn't have text messaging, does that mean that she's got an old dial-up phone? Those were so cool, being plugged into the wall and whatnot.
You may not have my personal email address.
oh, I tried
So
sending them
that's
through text
probably what
messaging.
it is. So
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't quite hear what she was saying. I think I caught like the last part of it, so I stopped talking and said, "Yes, ma'am," to address her, let her know that I was stopping talking and listening to her.
just be, just be patient, okay?
That's what I've been told for the last 8 years of this abuse and the last 3 years of this abuse here. Just be patient. The longer this drags out, the more evidence is allowed to be destroyed. I mean, this isn't just like one or two people in town harming me. This is systemic abuse as well. I've got evidence that all of these different agencies have worked together to prevent the truth from being shown, and they're still doing so. And this being patient thing, all it's doing is procrastinating.
Now, of course, does this sound crazy or generalized over the phone? Yes, it does. Or it could be construed that way. That's why I'm trying to get in to show them evidence. Now, of course, this guy's going to get a hold of me on Monday, right? But what's he going to do on Monday? I have to worry between now and then that if I go in there, I might be retaliated against for speaking up. On Monday, he might set me up for a meeting with all of them a week after that, or 2 weeks after that. And with their record of being absent and not showing up, well, that's going to add more stuff to it because that's what they've been doing, wasting time. Hopefully, this guy is a better human being than most of the other people they got working there.
Just resulting in more harm. Are you still there?
I am still here, yes. Yes. So, and I hope I was clear that Sean said he would call you. He's a man of great integrity. I'm sure he will.
A man of great integrity. Now, how long is it going to take for me to get the call from this man of great integrity? He hasn't stopped to hear what I have to say. He hasn't stopped to hear my concerns. He hasn't seen any evidence. He's going to go talk to them, likely hear their side. Will he hear my side? Will he look at the evidence? Or will he cover for his coworkers as his first official duty on his job?
I hope so. Like I was saying, I have an appointment with Miss Shelley tomorrow. I don't know how that's going to go. I've had to try to turn her and Melissa in because it's like I said, it's not just a failure to do their job. They destroyed evidence and refused to do their jobs as mandatory reporters. These aren't minor accusations in any way, shape, or form. These are major accusations, especially given the level of physical assaults that I've endured.
Right.
So I'll wait for his call because I don't have a choice. Nobody else is answering, and I keep getting sent around in circles.
The other thing is, before I go to any of these other agencies, like I said, I have to talk to their director. I have to try to turn this in to their director, which means I have to talk to him. And I have to show him my evidence. If he doesn't want to look at evidence and doesn't want to listen, well, what kind of professional competence or incompetence are we looking at there? Now, that's not me claiming that he is those things or is not those things. I haven't even met him, so far as I'm aware. Hopefully, he's this man of integrity. Hopefully.
I want to thank you for actually answering the phone, for talking to me, also for taking notes, because that's one of the big complaints I have with everybody I've had to work with. They don't write anything down, and then that's one of the things that when I did the